Why is corn a bad thing? Isn't it just like watching a movie? So I think I'm actually going to bring my husband on for this because he's the expert here when it comes to that. Hi, so this is my husband, David.
Hello.
David has been doing a lot of work in SA and corn addiction and actually helping other men with it.
Yeah.
And so I think just he's more qualified to answer this question.
If it was, then we'd turn on the movie when people came over, or we'd go see corn movies in the theaters and such. But aside from that, studies, especially a recent study a couple of years ago that came out, it's just the devastating effects that continual usage has on your gray matter in your brain, which helps with dopamine responses, reward system. The whole thing just goes haywire and hijacks it in a way where you watch a video in that category, and then to go back to it, you'd have to progress to something more to get a similar response. And that escalates and escalates to, it gets to a point of depravity, even sometimes illegal or fair-minded situations. Progressive thing that is not just watching a movie.
Yeah.
I
used to ask you, before I knew about anything, like we would be watching a movie and I would ask him like, hey, does this bother you in any way? Because I had a lot of friends who were like, that's probably not a great thing for you guys to be watching. And I just would go to him and say, does it bother you? And you would always assure me, no, it doesn't bother me at all. And come to find out as we've done therapy, maybe that's not the truth, but you can better answer that than me.
Being honest about the whole thing is just because I could answer that question in my mind truthfully because I wasn't acting out on that particular video. But it lingers and it brings things up or makes you want to pursue other things as well. To say that it had no effect was a little naive, I think, at the time. Although my definition of it at that time was different.
On my discovery day and finding out the secret life that he was leading, I was just completely shocked. Like, I thought I knew what corn was before I knew, so to speak. And so I was very traumatized by the images and videos I saw on your phone at the time. It just was very vulgar and abusive. I don't know if a lot of women know what kind of corn a lot of these men are watching. A lot of my friends who've come through the end of this and a lot of the men you're working with, it kind of gets to a point of where it needs to be secretive because it is shameful. And if they are in an intimate relationship with someone who's probably not okay with that, I definitely wouldn't have been okay with that. I'm still not okay with it. Just because it's so abusive. It's so, I can't really talk here on TikTok, but it's so abusive what you're seeing in these images of what's happening to other women. I would say monogamous relationships are not going to be comfortable with that, the lust and the insatiable lust that comes with it, and it leads to cheating.
And most men who I talk to who are on their way out or trying to come out of it will usually admit that, well, I went further than I wanted to, or I saw things that really went against their character as a person. It just escalates. Science supports that. The stories support that. It's not as harmless as many people would want to believe or even try to make others believe. So, people react because they think we're being judgmental or pious, being on one side of it and then being on the other. I've had both perspectives. I try to share with the men that I help, and as they're coming out of it, they end up seeing that more.
And now, this wasn't even something I asked of him. This is what he started doing. When we started watching movies after everything came out and in therapy and going through SA meetings and going through recovery, he suggested we get VidAngel to block things on movies. I was actually really shocked by that, but why did you suggest we do that?
The SA meetings and such, creates a very real situation of where am I at and what then is my trigger or my path that leads to something bigger. Before you drive off a cliff, you usually will have stopping points where you could say, I could stop at the road, or I could stop before this fence. There's many different things to do. So the further you can set your stopping point back before it gets too far, the better. Yeah, I know that's been challenging because there's been some movies I've really wanted to watch, and when I read the description, I'm like, oh man, that's got it. It's
been hard for me too because I'm being married to essentially an addict. an addict in recovery, there's things I have to say no to too. Certain movies or shows that I would like to watch that maybe aren't on VidAngel, and in respect to him and the boundaries he set for himself, I myself hold myself to those boundaries, which has been hard because it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me at all in a lot of ways.
You've had some times where you watch a show that I would just abstain from as well.
Yeah,
so.
I would say a lot of it is where women are being abused, though, or like grape, anything to do with affairs or cheating now, which, gosh, it's in all of our entertainment. It seems like it's so hard to find a movie these days that does not have that in it. Like cheating.
It's been for years.
It's like so acceptable in all of our entertainment. Like it's something romantic, and when you're going through betrayal trauma, it's so triggering. So he's actually had to do that for me. He's like read maybe a movie review, and he's like, it's got betrayal trauma and cheating and stuff in it, and he'll let me know, and so he doesn't watch it. But I hope this answers their question.
I hope so.
Let us know if you want more videos with David in it. We've been thinking about taking this channel to where we're both talking about it. We are a team, and we're 3 years out now, doing so much better now than what we were doing before. Just found hope on the other side. So.
Miles better.
Miles. So anyway, let us know if that's something you guys are interested in.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.